certain hotel discovers that if they charge $75 a night, they will book about 100 rooms. However, if they charge $80 a night, they book 90 rooms. Okay, so this is this, actually question B is the easiest. In this case, price 1 is 75, Q1 is 100, revenue 1 is 7500, and price 2, 80, quantity 2 is 90, 7200. Oh, so right there you see you want the revenue to go up in that direction. You want the quantity to go up, and that means the price has to go down. And if you understand that little bit right there, you won't get this question wrong, because if you do some clerical thing wrong, you'll say, oh wait, I'm going the wrong direction. But let's go ahead and calculate E, and we can do this Q2 minus Q1 over Q1 and P2 minus P1 over P1. Now, if you labeled P1 and Q1 opposite, if you made this Q1 and P1 and the other one Q2 and P2, then the formula would give you a different result. And I would probably be generous, because this kind of implies that this is the original, but it doesn't necessarily, because the problem itself didn't say this happened first and then this happened second. So we really don't know which one happened first. We just know that if they charge one thing, they sell a certain number of rooms. If they charge another thing, they sell a different number of rooms. So the time is kind of implied, but not necessarily. So I will be gentle, I will be lenient on that. Okay, so Q2 minus Q1, again, I know what the signs are doing, so I'm just going to ignore them. So it's 10 over 100 divided by 5 over 75. Well, that's just, 1/10. And then what's 5 divided by 75? Well, it's the reciprocal of 75 divided by 5, which is 15. So it's divided by 1 over 15, so it's 15 over 10, because you flip the second fraction and multiply through, so it's 3 over 2. Okay? And that's elastic, because, well, again, you probably just want to convert it to 1.5, because elasticity is referenced off of 1. What should the price be? Okay, now this is where it gets hairy. Everything's good so far, and now she asks us to do this line thing. This thing from high school. Yeah, it's kind of annoying. It is. I agree. But we have to do it. So I'm going to start writing up here, just because we're going to need more space, and I apologize for that. Sometimes I misjudge how much space something's going to take. Okay, changing Q is 10, changing price is 5. It's always going to be negative, so it's -2. And then I'm going to say this is this y equals mx plus b formula, where the q's are the y's and the p's are the x's. Okay, so if you want to change all the variables and then change them back again, that's totally fine by me. And plus what? We want to find b. Well, we just plug in one of these points and we figure this out. So we just say, okay, I'm going to start writing over here now. Q, I'm going to just use this right there. I'm going to use Q is 100 equals -2 times 75 plus this piece that's missing. And if you're like me, I make a mistake often where I forget right here, this negative right here. I forget it all the time, and it catches me right here, because then I end up with some garbage nonsense in this line, and then I say, oh wait a minute, I forgot the negative sign. So when you do something in math, you should always keep your eyes out for, maybe I did something wrong. And if I did something wrong, what kind of nonsense will result? And if I run into nonsense, I should go check for clerical errors, because clerical errors are all over the place, just waiting to happen. Q equals minus 2p plus 250. And so something that you should be thinking about with this model is your price always has to go, like your quantity has to go down when your price goes up, and you always should have a giveaway point. Okay, this has to be a positive number because you have to be able to give away an item, and this tells you, you'll still make no revenue, but it can tell you how many you can give away for free. Okay, and if you just figure out what happens when quantity equals 0 on the other side, that will be price would have to be 125, or of course greater, you would still get 0, but that's not what our model says. But its model says it's exactly 0 when price is 125. So it's just something to keep in mind. All right, so what should the price be in order to maximize revenue? So we need to know what the revenue is. Revenue is price times quantity, so you just take this formula and hike up the P. And then take the derivative, set it equal to 0, all that nonsense, or you can just say minus b over 2a, so it's going to be 250 over 4. But let's just take the derivative and set it equal to 0. Okay, and then equals 0. So we get 250 equals 4p. 250 over 4 equals p. So price is half of 125. It is 62.50. Right? Okay. What should the price be? There you go. We got it. Now, what should the price be in order to make E equal 1? You could just say 62.50 because E is equal to 1 if and only if derivative of the revenue is 0. But I don't expect most people would figure that out, but maybe you would. I'm telling you this, so maybe you'll figure it out. When I ask you two questions that have the same answer for a reason, you know, when you know two curves are going to cross, or you know that two formulas do the same thing, you don't have to repeat the work. But it is sometimes wise to go ahead and repeat the work as a way of checking your work. Now, you do the same thing two different ways, and that's not a bad thing. Okay, so what is dq dp? Well, we have q. So q prime is just minus 2. That's really easy. I'm going to ditch that negative sign. And then p is just p. And q is minus 2p plus 250. So 2p over 250 minus 2p, this is equal to e. Oh, okay, that was just so lovely. That's better. And so now we want to know how to make E equal to 1. E equals 1 if 2p is 250 minus 2p, or for p is 250. Where have we done this algebra before? P is 62.50. Okay, and we really expected that. E equals 1. And R is maximized at the same price, because it's two ways of talking about the same thing, as opposed to, where was this graph? Marginal cost and average cost are equal when average cost is minimized, right? But it's special. It only happens at this one point, right? But down here, revenue is maximized, E equals 1. This whole process, all the algebra is identical. It's not like these just, well, there's just two ways of doing exactly the same thing. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully this helps you study, and I wish you luck on the exam. Continue studying, and I think you'll do really well. If you're watching this video and you watched all the videos, this is number 9, so it's the last one. Maybe you're watching them in the other order, but You watch all the videos and you study everything I tell you to, you'll do fine. Good luck.